Actually, I'm the proud parent of 4 children. I have 6 grandchildren. I'm not that prolific, but I am honored to be here with you today. I come from a oil and gas rich area of our country. You can't go anywhere today and talk energy that you don't see a map of eastern and southeastern Ohio. The Marcellus and the Utica Shale have had tremendous impacts on not only the people that live there that I represent, but also on the industry and the transformation of America's energy future. I want to say to my friends at the State Department, Commerce, and the Department of Energy, the new administration, I look forward to working with you as we wrestle with some of these issues that we're going to need to solve to get America where we know that we should be in regards to energy dominance and helping our friends and allies all across the globe. But thanks for inviting me here today. It's really an honor to be here. New job opportunities have emerged, and many others are coming as a result of infrastructure. I mean, look at that picture. You know what that guy's doing? That guy's doing something called downhill welding. It's a very specialized kind of welding that's needed for pipeline infrastructure. And I can tell you that the plumbers and pipe fitters and the welders across eastern and southeastern Ohio, they are absolutely ecstatic about the job opportunities that have been afforded to them and the kind of work that they've been able to get. And it continues to grow every day. Young people lining up in high school to get into vo-technical programs as seniors in high school so that they can step out. Now get this, 6-figure jobs coming out of high school. Isn't that crazy? 6-figure jobs between a roughly $60,000 to $70,000 base salary and then all of the overtime because they need so many of these folks. A lot of these young kids are starting out their careers on top. And like you heard just a few minutes ago, 10, 15 years ago, you would not have heard that 10 to 15 years ago. They'd rather do it themselves than have to come to Washington and ask for help anyway. And so it's a very, very positive thing that has happened. But, you know, these positive developments, while they're very, very real, we've got to have strong support for strategic changes at the federal level if we want to see it go ultimately where we know that it can go. We want to be able to allow the export of America's liquid natural gas. That in turn not only strengthens our geopolitical ties with the allies that we're selling that gas to, but it helps to grow and further our economy. Just a real brief segue. You combine what's happening in the oil and gas industry and with LNG exports, with what the House delivered yesterday in a massive overhaul of America's tax structure. If we get that through the Senate, Katie, bar the door. You better get your work boots on. You better get your boards of directors ready to go to work because a lot of opportunities are going to be coming. And you just better gird up because it's going to be an interesting ride. I continue to work for these changes, and I'm currently working on legislation to allow U.S. natural gas to compete freely in the world market instead of having to move through some of that uncertainty that you just heard our last speaker talk about. Equally important to encouraging these exports is having an administration that understands the economic benefits of all energy exports. I want to add my accolades and my appreciation to the work that Secretary Perry has done over at DOE regarding LNG exports and the work that they've done on getting the approvals for additional export facilities has been very, very encouraging. This initiative that we're talking about today between USTDA and industry is very promising. The United States has trillions of cubic feet of technically recoverable natural gas. We know it's there. Advances in technology over the last 10 to 15 years have made it so that we can go get that gas. 10, 15 years ago, we couldn't have done that, but now we can. It would be foolish of us not to take complete advantage of this abundance, as we are well positioned to continue to grow as a world leader in natural gas exports, especially considering that the United States is currently the world's largest natural gas producer. Helping to facilitate the exports of natural gas infrastructure by connecting U.S. industry with allies and buyers across the world is a very, very important component in realizing this leadership role. Now, as you all well know, the competition that our domestic natural gas industries face from other global suppliers, many subsidized and backed by their own governments, is extremely fierce. That's why having this initiative in place to help develop gas-related infrastructure in LNG-hungry countries through technical assistance, training, and other tools will be so helpful, especially as 8 domestic LNG export projects are currently under construction, along with the liquefaction facility in the lower 48 already in use, and even more export facility projects moving through the permitting process. The domestic economic benefits of LNG exports and the accompanying infrastructure are also critically important. The economic ties that we develop and strengthen through these exports are critical. I mentioned earlier how natural gas development has benefited my district. Imagine that same scenario playing out in countries around the world, countries that we have an alliance with. While increasing America's geopolitical influence through our own gas infrastructure, our technical know-how, our values, and our liquid natural gas, they are going to help those countries rise. Ronald Reagan once said, "A rising tide rises all boats." That is especially true in the world of energy, where America and her allies are concerned. I want to thank you all again for inviting me to speak today. I'm excited to see what benefits this initiative will bring, both domestically here in America and around the world. And if I can ever be of any assistance, please don't hesitate to call on me. God bless and have a great, great Thanksgiving.